This video will show how to establish management contact from next generation firewall engine to Security Management Center using Initial Configuration Wizard. The communication between NGFW engines and SMC servers is authenticated and encrypted using certificates signed with SMC internal certificate authority created during SMC installation. The NGFW engines initially have no knowledge of the CA nor have the certificate signed by it. To establish trust relationship between SMC and NGFW engines, management contact needs to be done. During management contact, NGFW engine connects to SMC management server on TCP port 3021 to request certificate. Once contact is done successfully, further communication between engine and SMC servers will be encrypted. There are few options how management contact can be done. The first option, which is covered in this video, is to run Initial Configuration Wizard on the NGFW command line manually, defining settings for the contact. The second option is to save initial configuration to USB drive, plug the USB drive to NGFW appliance, and then power on the appliance. NGFW software will then attempt to establish management contact using settings stored on the drive. For further details on this option, refer to NGFW installation guides. The third option is to use NGFW installation cloud. For additional information on this option, check KP article number 9662, How to use installation cloud for NGFW initial configuration. As mentioned, this video focuses on establishing management contact using Initial Configuration Wizard on the NGFW engine command line. To use Initial Configuration Wizard for management contact, you will need management client access to SMC and console access to NGFW engine. If you need to renew management contact on previously configured NGFW engine, you can use SSH connection instead of console. Let's start by creating NGFW engine element in the SMC. Here we will create single node firewall, but you can similarly create other elements for other engine types. On the firewall properties, we will define basic settings needed that allow saving the single node element and doing the management contact. For details on all the engine element settings, refer to NGFW product guide and online help. To create the engine element in SMC, click Tools icon on the home page, then select New, type of the element and element you want to create. Since we want to create single firewall, we select Firewall and Single Firewall. The new window opens the Firewall General Settings page. Add the name of the firewall element, select the log server engine will be sending logs to, and add at least one DNS server IP address in the DNS IP address list. This list contains DNS servers firewall itself will use for resolving DNS names. Next, click Interfaces on the left pane. On the Interfaces page, click New and Layer 3 interface to add new physical interface. Add more interfaces as needed. Here we add 3 interfaces 0, 1 and 2. To add IP address for interface, right-click the interface and select New IPv4 address. In the IP address properties, define the interface IP address and net mask and click OK. Note that you can also press Tab key to move between settings. Repeat the steps for other interfaces to add addresses for them as well. The first interface defined will automatically be selected as control interface. To change the control interface selection, expand Interfaces section and click Interface Options. Under Control Interface, select Primary Control Interface and also add Backup Control Interface if needed. Before saving the firewall, we will also add default route. To do this, click Routing on the left pane. Right-click the network router belongs to and select Add Router. To create new router element, click Tools icon and select New Router. In the router properties, specify name and IP address of the router and click OK. If another element already exists for same IP address, SMC will show note. Click Yes to acknowledge this. Then select the router from the list, click Add and OK. Expand the network to see the router element under it. Right-click the router element and select Set as Default Route. If you then expand routing view, you will see any network added under the router to create default route. To save the firewall element, click Save button. Switch back to Homepage and right-click newly created firewall element and select Configuration, Save Initial Configuration. In the new window, click View Details button and leave the new window open as you will need one-time password on the command line wizard. Open console connection to NGFW engine. Here firewall has been powered on previously and is ready to be configured. Press Enter on the keyboard to activate the console and then type Y and press Enter to start the wizard. On the configuration wizard, press Enter and select engine role. We are creating single firewall and thus select firewall VPN role. On the wizard welcome page, use arrow keys to navigate to next and press Enter. On the step 1, select keyboard layout and local time zone. Type in the host name and command line password twice. Then navigate to enable SSH daemon setting and press spacebar to enable this setting. To proceed to next step, navigate to next and press Enter. On the step 2, select correct interface as management interface with MGMT selection. To select the interface, navigate to MGMT column on desired interface and press spacebar. Once ready, navigate to next and press Enter. On the last step of the wizard, move to enter node IP address manually and press spacebar to select. Then define IP address, netmask/prefix length and gateway to management. Last one can be left empty if NGFW engine and management server are on the same subnet. Next, move to Contact Management Server section and enable Contact option. Then define management server IP address and type one-time password created in SMC. If SMC internal certificate authority type is ECDSA, leave the 256-bit security option enabled. If you are using RSA-CA, then uncheck this option. Once ready, navigate to Finish button and press Enter to make engine contact management server. When ECDSA certificate authority is used, one-time password is long and tedious to type manually. If SSH connection can be opened to engine after control interface is defined, it is easier to use SSH connection for actual management contact part. To do this, define management server IP address on the contact management server section and then change contact option back to do not contact and finish the wizard. Next, open SSH client and SSH connection to engine. Logging using root as username and with password you defined in the wizard. On the SSH connection, run command sgcontact mgmt. Then switch to management client and on the initial configuration details right-click the one-time password and select copy password. Switch back to SSH client and paste one-time password after the command and press Enter to make engine open management contact to management server. When prompted, accept the management fingerprint. You can verify it is correct by checking fingerprint in the management client on the initial configuration window. If everything works fine, you should see message telling contact was successful and engine status change in management client. After this, you will be able to install policy and manage NGFW engine using the management client.